All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Raggedy Pack. Today we're going to be watching Season 2, Episode 2 of Vinland Saga. As you can see, Kojo isn't here today. Unfortunately, he's not able to join us, busy with work, and he wasn't going to be available anytime soon. So hopefully he'll be available next week, and he'll watch the episode on his own in the meantime. So, in the first episode, we got introduced to a pretty prominent character, Einar, who actually had a big portion of his backstory revealed. And I actually mentioned in the post discussion that was all anime original content. And I actually want to talk a bit more about that. But in terms of what we learned about him, his village got raided twice. First time, it looks like his dad died. And the second time around, we saw his mother and sister die before he was eventually taken and sold off to slavers. And eventually he got bought by an unnamed man to work on a farm. The episode ended off with him being shown where he's going to be working, clearing land for, I guess, a new farm. And we got revealed we got to see a much older Thorfinn who looks a bit more worn down, I guess, and doesn't have that same light in his eyes. So I wanted to ask you, given like the setup of the first episode, and given where we left off on season 1. So if you remember in season 1, in the final episode, Thorfinn's final moments were him being carried away by Knut's men after essentially trying to strike Knut in anger of Askeladd's death.
Yep.
And then in this episode, it looks like a few years have passed. I don't know how much time exactly. He looks to be, he became a slave, and he's older, more rugged, and he kind of has those lifeless eyes. So what do you think has happened to Thorfinn in like the past few years?
Well, he probably got taken to some prison at some point. I mean, they did take him away after trying to kill Knut, which I would imagine he still wanted to do for a while. Like, he, in the back of his head, he might still want right now, because Askeladd was supposed to be his kill. But at some point, I don't know, like, if he got freed from captivity, if he was even in it, or if he like just got straight up sold into being a slave. But yeah, I guess he's just been laying low for a while. It's really hard to tell, like, how does he just end up in that position, because the Thorfinn we knew from season 1 was always just rolling with the Vikings, like destroying everything, and now just to see him working out on a farm is kind of surreal.
There's definitely some gaps that need to be filled, but yeah, it's interesting to see, and it really like gets you wondering what's been going on. But yeah, going back to the thing I wanted to talk about regarding that first half of the episode being completely original, I think it was overall a pretty good change, because I mean, when it comes to anime original content and like adaptions, usually it's like it has pretty negative connotations. Like when you think of shonen anime, there's a lot of filler anime original content, which is, I mean, some of it's all right, but a lot of it's just like people tend to skip, you know. But in the case of this, I think it definitely serves the story well, because I know I talked to you you and Kojo a little bit about this. Einar's introduction in the manga was kind of treated pretty comedically. He just happened to be a slave, and like he's just some dude. It's not until later we learn more about him, and even then it's not like we don't see like that backstory. And his entire existence as a slave is treated as like a gag. Like, he's a slave. Oh, he's at a slave market. He's getting felt up by some dude. The same dude who said that Einar wasn't handsome enough. He was copping a feel. So it's they treat it as like a gag, and I think this more serious introduction for Einar's character serves to set him up a lot better as a character. And I mean, looking back on it now, that chapter came out in 2009, so it's been over 10 years. So I don't know how closely the author is working alongside the series, but if it's like he's taking this chance with the adaptation to basically make some changes to the story he felt like weren't that great, I see that as like I think it's pretty cool if that's the case.
Agree.
Because like I'm going on a tangent here, so if you that's kind of a habit of mine. When it comes to like anime adaptations, from my understanding, like it's different depending. It varies for how much the original authors are, like how much they're working alongside the adaptation's production, whether or not they're pretty hands on with it. In the case of Isayama and Attack on Titan, where I think he's gone in interviews saying that he views the anime adaptation to be like the definitive edition of the series, or if they're just pretty hands off and let the anime do their own thing. Thinking this could be another case where he's trying to correct some previous parts of his story, which honestly is great. It's good to take another crack at things, and like I mean, he as a writer can change at like over 10 years, definitely. So I think it's cool. That's my tangent over. But yeah, I'm just really interested to see more of this adaptation, and I'm sure you're dying to see what happens next and learning more about Thorfinn and Einar, since it looks like they're going to be working together pretty closely.
Yeah, I really want to know how Thorfinn even ended up there, and I want to see how they're going to interact, what Einar's going to think when he finds out that Thorfinn was a Viking, and like his group of Vikings and raided like how many ever villages. That's probably going to bring back some bad memories for Einar. I don't know how they're going to feel towards each other. If I had to guess, maybe at first they're cold, but over time they like work together and warm up to one another.
I can see. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely could be a point of conflict, given his tragic past, and I mean, in a way, it kind of overlaps with Thorfinn's past. I mean, they both they both lost someone at the hand of Vikings.
True.
But I mean, Thorfinn has done a lot of terrible shit on his own. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. All right. I think that's a good sum up of the last episode. Are you ready to get into it?
I am ready.
Before we do that, if you enjoy our content, consider dropping a like and subscribing. We greatly appreciate it, and it means so much to us. If you want and are feeding for more content, check out other videos, or if you want exclusive content, check out our Patreon, where we have early access of some series and full-length reactions on all episodes, including this one. We also have socials in the description. Also a Discord if you want to come by, say hi and interact with us, and just talk about the shows we're watching a bit more, or other series if you want to as well. It's all a good time, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun if you decide to do that. With that being said, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I think I remember reading, I'm not sure if someone commented on it, but despite it being a different studio, it's still a lot of the same hands working on it.
That reminds me of when Halo changed hands from Bungie to 343. A lot of people from Bungie went over to 343 to keep working on Halo.
Well, I hope it's not the same as that.
No.
Man, that just makes me sad. What do you think the imagery of this opening?
It's trippy. I feel like I'm looking in a kaleidoscope.
Einar Thorfinn, 今日からお前たちは友人だ.
Okay.
Just like that. God, he's short. I guess Einar is still like older than him, maybe? Or that man's just a beast.
He's a beast.
Maybe Thorfinn didn't have the best nutrition living on the road.
ここが何に見える？
森ですか。
うん、違うな。
Really?
ここはな、
Oh,
未来の小麦畑だ。
That man has a vision.
この森はわしの所有物だ。
Yeah,
これをお前たち二人に貸してやろう。
lease it.
貸す？
うん、一切任せる。お前たちの頑張り次第では3年以内にそうなることもあり得るぞ。
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how, like, despite like being bought as a slave, he was offering them a way out through work.
yeah.
慣れない土地で大変だろうが頑張りなさい。
Is he blind?
He just had squinty eyes.
Okay.
It'd be tough to work on a farm blind.
それって
That's a lot.
まだ結構あるってこと？
Yeah, that is. Reminds me of the Ark days.
Behind the base, clearing out the forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna break the axe.
That's it. Axe is expensive too.
なんだよ。そろそろ奉公人が持って
Oh, nice.
本当かよ。
That's pretty clutch.
至れり尽くせりだな。
We got DoorDash.
Yeah. DoorDash.
そりゃないっすよ。
Seen a lot of goatees here. I like that.
It's a style. They need some.
Damn.
Einar
Russell.
Thorfinn.
私は
That man was taking a bite out of it.
これを
I wonder if these guys were former slaves too.
ありがとうございますってよ。
If they were, I feel like they wouldn't be acting like this.
Yeah.
And that horse has been through it.
Yeah. It's like Thorfinn's helping.
Yeah.
Got Einar in there. Uh-oh.
It's gonna get stuck.
お前な、そんなんでいいのかよ。
Man does not care.
Yep. It definitely seems like Thorfinn's just gone complacent with life here.
Yeah. Who
I
dat?
got distracted. Getting ready to take it to Pierre's.
Oh my god.
んだよ。言われた通りやってんじゃねえ
This
か。
guy's got a sword.
Yeah, it looks like Trunks' sword.
ああ、やめた。やろうと思ってたけど、や
This
め
man's
た
not。built for the farm.
No.
俺がいつ継がせてくれって頼んだよ。
Ungrateful SMH.
Just a whole ass farm, bro.
You're 17, bro. Calm down.
俺はこいつで。
Can't even take it out.
Noodle arm. Well,
俺はイングランドに行くぜ。近いうちに必ずな。
If he wants to be a warrior.
クルート王帝殿下の軍団に加わってバシバシ手柄を上げてやる
okay,
ぜ。
Prince Canut's army.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good try.
Good try.
That's like me when I
Maybe
try to
next
swat
time.
a fly. Do what? What's she talking about? Oh god.
Oh,
My
this man's
daughter.
coaching his. This man's coaching his daughter.
Yeah, trying to get in on the farm profit.
Yeah.
Trying to get her pregnant so he'll pay that child support. You know?
He wants in on the future heir.
My
You're
god.
scheming, bro.
親父の財産が目当てなんだろうが。ケティル一族と親戚になりゃ贅沢できるってか。私どもはそんなつもりでは。
Gotta be more discreet than that.
待って。俺は俺だ。親父のおまけじゃねえ。なあ、くそ。
I mean, that's definitely understandable, but like, he's a brat still.
Yeah.
They're going over the crops.
昔、俺の住んでた村に
Here we go with the
兵
backstory.
隊が来た。
Yeah.
イングランド王の部
Oh, so he said soldiers instead of Vikings. That's interesting.
Oh, that's when he was a kid.
Yeah.
His eyes opened up.
And
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's the moment I was waiting for.
yeah.
I do not want to watch Vikings Valhalla, thank you. But yeah, that moment where Einar's unloading about his past and having it resonate with Thorfinn, that's good shit.
Yep.
We get out of here. Welcome to the farm with that second episode. I don't know if I said that after the first one.
I don't remember, but yeah, it was cool, enjoyable. The first half, watching them cut down and transport the huge trees. They're living off of scraps. Like they each get half of a, I don't even know if you could call that a loaf of bread. And then
Half like a quarter
cheese.
loaf. I mean, yeah, that's
I would
that's
assume
nothing.
though they're in the forest. If like they needed more food, they could probably scavenge themselves, live off the land, kind of.
I feel like they got it because that's just like not
That's
enough food
nothing.
to work the day away.
Yeah. And
You're burning way too many
Thorfinn,
calories.
He's really not that big and not that built, but for Einar, that boy needs to eat to maintain that
Yeah.
muscle mass.
Definitely. But at the same time, I mean, it would make sense if they're doing some hunting in the for more food, but also like if whether or not they have time after like doing everything else, all the other work.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely an interesting episode. We get to see the dynamics of the farm, and I like I was saying earlier, I really liked the setup of like, hey, if the master's name, I think
Ketil. I know his last name's Ketil or Ketil.
Okay, yeah, Ketil. Ketil basically saying they could eventually work their way to freedom by just clearing the land. I mean, he still profits off them basically creating more farmland, but it's just a cool dynamic that they can eventually become free through work.
Yeah.
I mean-
Einar said like that's not how it worked in his homeland. Like slaves are always slaves. There's no
Yeah.
chance for them to become free. But it was also interesting that he brought up the farm hands are basically like half slaves because they're still like they don't have their own land. They're still working for him. They're just like a step above Thorfinn and Einar.
Because like they're basically just working just to live on the farm, which really is no different from a slave, just with more benefits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's definitely spin there. And then we
then you
saw some of
have-
the farm hands who are just like dozing off and letting them do all the work and eating their fucking lunch. God damn.
I was gonna say we got introduced to the master's son. Did they say his name? Oh, Olmar.
Omar. Yeah, I think.
Okay. And basically he is set to inherit the farm. However, he doesn't want to. He wants to like be a warrior, do his own thing. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into, basically. Kind of seems spoiled, like, you know, has everything handed to him compared to like everyone else out there that's working and doesn't have a choice. He has the choice to do what he wants to do, and everyone around him seems to think he is making the wrong choice. And I agree, like, you should just inherit the farm, my guy, and make a profit off of it. And you could do what you want in the meantime. You want to get in some fights or whatever, but don't just throw that all away being an idiot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's definitely understandable. Like, I mean, if he chooses to inherit the farm, he's just pretty much set up for life. But I mean, his notion of wanting to like do something else besides the farm and have like his own dreams and passion, I mean, that's definitely understandable. You don't have to necessarily just just like go with the family business, but
Right.
he just doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
Exactly. Like he has a fantasy in his head of like the warrior that he's gonna be, but you kind of like get glimpses of that's not the case when he's trying to draw his sword and he can't, or when he's trying to look badass cutting the moth and like I guess putting out the flame at this. I don't know what I thought he was going for the collateral right there, but he missed. And that's just telling me like if he does set out on his own, then it's probably not going to go so well. And you got the two drunk guys that are leading his horse to wherever. I'm wondering if he's going to end up having to get into a fight with them.
You think they're scheming too?
Possibly. It seems like everyone is. Everyone wants in on the fortune, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to have a character like that too, like Omar, who like is fantasizing about like the warrior's life. And then we have Thorfinn who has lived that life. And it's like, it creates a dynamic between like his fantasy and Thorfinn's reality and how they differ so much, which is cool to see. But yeah, farm life looking pretty fun.
Yep. Honestly, it was just a pretty like chill episode. I really enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying it while I can because I already know at some point during the season shit's gonna hit the fan and everyone's gonna be dying. Which I mean, I guess we did have some deaths, like a village get raided in the first episode, but I mean it's gonna get worse than that. I imagine.
Yeah,
we're gonna be at war.
Who do you think's coming?
Canute.
More Vikings? Canute.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be interesting. And also that last scene with them in the barn sleeping on the hay and like Einar kind of opening up and seeing Thorfinn like show some semblance of reaction when he mentioned Vikings. I can't wait till the two characters open up more. Agreed.
I really like the way Thorfinn was acting this episode, even though like it didn't seem like he was himself. It just seemed like he was mature. He learned some things. He was telling Einar to chill out, say thank you to the farm hands, and that I know like I can foresee him going back to his old self, like wild and always fighting against those who oppose him. But it's just nice to see him like chilled out for a little bit. It's interesting to say the least.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because old Thorfinn would have been throwing hands and killing people.
Sure. They all would have been dead.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely cool to see. I mean, part of me is wondering, like I was kind of mentioning, like, is it just him complacency with his life? Or is it just like him actually kind of learning from his past a bit? And I mean, I guess that's just left to be seen whether or not, which is the case. And we just need to see more of his thoughts on like what's been going on.
I feel like if he's working there, it's going to have a greater purpose. Like he's methodical. I don't know what it is yet, but there's a reason he's there doing that stuff. It's not just because, he's like coasting through life. He's got some greater plans.
Okay.
I don't know what they are.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a bad life. I mean, when it comes to being a slave, I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
As opposed to eventually working yourself to freedom and then, I don't know, doing whatever from then.
You work yourself to being a farmhand.
I mean, yeah. Well, like I think the way they were describing it, like, Ketil was describing it was, he said he would lease the farm, the land to them until they pay off their debts. And then, I don't know, do they get to keep that land? I don't know. That'd be pretty sick.
I feel like he's going to turn all that land into like more fields to grow his crops. And I think he would be taking all the profit from that.
Okay. Maybe.
I'm not entirely sure. That's just that's what I would do if I was Ketil. I would.
I mean, he seems pretty generous,
Mm-hmm.
all things considered.
For sure.
I mean, I know slavery doesn't like scream being a generous person, but like for the time, like slaves were common. Like it was the thing back in the day.
Right. You gotta
I mean,
think,
even in
though,
some
like,
places now.
if you're buying slaves to clear trees, because he was saying like, what is this? Einar said it's a forest. He said not quite. It's fields or a field or whatever. He's gonna get them to clear it so he can plant stuff there and make profit off of it. That's how he like makes money off of this. If he like got them to clear it so they could live there and that was their land, then like what was the point?
I mean, the way I was kind of seeing it is like, I mean, they kind of, he gets some of the profits still, but like they get like a cut, like a good cut or something like that.
So you're saying like they turn it into farmland, but they also live there and help like what do you call it, harvest the crops, and he still makes money off of it, but they also like get a fair pay. Okay, I can see that happening.
They pay their taxes to the big man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, can't wait till next week, and hopefully
Same.
we'll have Kojo with us.
Hopefully.
All right, think we can wrap it up there.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. If you like this episode and enjoy our content, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. It means so much to us, and it really helps out. If you want, check out our Patreon, where we have more content for you, early access to some series, and full-length reactions on all our videos. Socials in description as always. Join our Discord, talk to us, have some fun. With that being said, we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.